Hey guys, Derek out here in the shop today on Greenback Grange. I am going to upgrade our SX500, my daughter's bike here. It's a little Razor. If you Google it, you'll see what I'm talking about, SX500. I'm going to basically put in a 48 volt system in here, which is a pretty common modification. The one that comes with a 36 volt, and it just doesn't have a whole lot of power. It's not bad in a straight line if you're riding around on pavement, which is really not its intent. It's kind of a dirt bike. So we're going to get some torque on this thing and put a bigger battery in it so it lasts a little bit longer, has a little more speed, but also gives it more power to get up the hill. We have a lot of hills here, and I want to be able to ride with her, and I could be on my bike, Abram could be on his, and she can keep up and climb those hills. So here's the video, check it out. I got my helper today. He's messing around with his helmet. Abram, say hi. Hi. All right, this is the Razor SX500. So basically, if you go on, and I'll put the links in the description, I did get some fuses. These are 50 amp breaker type fuses. Then I've got this, the blade style as well. This system is set up to do 40 amps. And I'll show you here. It comes with this controller. So I should say, I'm sorry, 33 amps. I'm putting a 40 amp fuse on it. So it's got all the wiring. They're all, of course, in Chinese. So I'm going to kind of walk this through the directions I got. Hopefully it will help you guys. And of course, wire at your own risk, full disclosure. I will be putting these on as well. This is the new throttle control. I've seen some modifications where you can change, do like a 3-speed. We're just going to try it with the stock setup first. This box is about 110 bucks for all this. And it comes with the motor and the controllers, some brackets, screws, and the motor is right here next to it. 48 volt. The wiring's right there. So it's already got some teeth on it. I'm going to switch that out to the factory teeth. Right now, that's the motor that's on it. We're going to be taking that one out. Everything is under this controller box, so we're going to be taking this thing off. And what I'm going to do is set up the GoPro, and we'll just kind of high speed it through. And I'll stop within to show you what I'm doing. So we are going to no longer be using the plug-in for here. It actually came with a charger. So if you buy a battery and you do the 48 volt setup, it's got this and it's got the plug-in charger, and I let it charge overnight, so it's good to go. So I'm basically gonna have this wire kind of accessible so I can plug it in. Obviously, I'm gonna just get this connected. It's got some threads on it too, which is cool. So we'll get it in there and get it set up. Here we go, guys. All right, so we're gonna get, I pointed them out, these bolts here, just Allen set, nice and easy. The seat slid off from here once I got these back bolts off, and this one off here. This throttle is gonna be coming off, so we're gonna be doing that all right now. All right, so almost got the box off. There's a lot of screws here, so obviously you could take a drill if you want, put a head on it. I just didn't have an Allen head handy for that, and I didn't want to look all day. There's also one underneath, so don't forget that one right there, and then the one on each side, other side as well. So all those off to separate this box. There it is, factory setup. Got the fuse, got a fuse there. These are all jumped together in series to give you a 36 volt setup with their little controller. So basically this is all gonna go away. can see the bolt that holds it in here. Get that taken out. There's one over here as well. And then I've got the cover, which I still gotta get the other screw off the other side. We'll get that off too. All right, here's the kit I got. These are all your connections. There's everything it comes with. And another sprocket. From what I'm watching on the videos, I'm gonna use the sprocket that is on here. So I'm gonna pull this out next. I'm gonna use the sprocket that's on there because I want the torque. A lot of people want the speed. I think this one bumps the speed up a little bit. I just want the low end so she can get up those hills. We don't need to go excessively faster, but these are the directions it comes with. So we're gonna follow them to a T here and see how it goes. And of course your throttle. It's got a little Allen so you can get it put back on here, obviously, and the factory one does as well. So we're gonna start taking apart here. All right, so I took these fuses out. That way I got no power going anything while I'm taking this apart. A couple different Allen sizes here. Got two here. This pulls the control box out. It's still sitting down there. And then you got this top one here, this one here. That's what I'm going after next. We should be able to get that last level down the bottom there on each side. And then once those are out, we can basically have a nice flat tray here and get started on getting the motor out. So here we go. Run for this brake too.
Artillery strike. Oh yeah! That's a pretty big target right there. So what if I did it first try?
All right, now we're at the motor side, using the same Allen I was using on these guys right here. I'm popping these off, they're not too tight. And then I pulled the cover off here, as you'll see in the video. We're gonna get this loosened up, get this off of here, and get the new motor in and see how that is gonna connect. So there's two more on this side right here. So we're gonna see, we've got some brackets that come with it. We're gonna see how that goes, so. right, so threads are in reverse, so you're going righty instead of left to loosen it. So go right like you're tightening it, and it'll pop off. And then you can see I was holding it with the vice grips, and then I'm going to pull this off here. All right, so what's happening is I'm getting these screws on the back of these motors. See, on the factory one, they're flush. And I'm sure you guys have already messed with this or kind of making fun of my video because I haven't messed with it yet. And you can see I've smacked it with a hammer a couple times, which I don't recommend because it's not gonna work. I'm gonna grind this. Basically what I'm trying to do is get this in between here and here, and it's just a little tight. So I'm gonna grind this down a little bit, grind this down a little bit. I mean, I'm super close, as you can see. All right, guys, here we go. So I knew there was gonna be some challenges with this. I've watched a few videos, and there's a few different ways people have done it. And it depends on the motor you buy, I guess, but I've grinded this guy flush. I don't really care. I'm not pulling this motor apart, and honestly, criticize away. It's gonna be bolted in here and sandwiched in here so tight, it ain't going anywhere. I'm gonna twist it now that I've got this in here, and kind of get this thing hammered in and lined up. So I actually thought about cutting these off too. I'm gonna kind of see if it just fits, but we'll see. If it doesn't, I'll slice these off too because you don't need them. Here we go. All right, I got Abe help me tighten the last few here. All right, so here's the problem. If you guys are putting these in, if you're watching these videos, you do it however you will. Do this at your own risk, of course. This is how I did it. I grinded these down. You don't have to grind this top one. If you're looking at the feet here, which also you don't need, I bent this one down. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need room in here at some point for something, so I just bent it down while I was in there, grinded the bottom a little and just cleaned it up. I thought about doing the same thing back here, but honestly, I don't really care. It's nowhere near the tire, so I'm just gonna leave it. And then down here, I used the OEM, the factory bolts fit right in, which is great. So this one's in too now. Chain guard's on there. Everything looks lined up. So we're good there. Obviously gotta grease this chain. I need some loving. And we're gonna crank these things up, and we're gonna work on the battery side and the controller side. So this is definitely the hardest part. If you're not mechanically inclined, then don't do it. But if you feel like doing a project, and you got a grinding tool and a couple other things, you like to tinker like I do, pretty cool. So, all right, how's it looking, Abe? All right.
It's really hard. I think I'm done.
All right, I'll help you crank it up. Here we go. Let's finish getting this battery in. Put the new controller on, new throttle. There you go. Yep. Let's make sure that wire's up there. Yep. We're gonna run that wire along down here.
Right here.
All right, that's how that goes on. And then we got, no, under here is where you're gonna tighten it. See it under there? Yeah. So tighten that up. That's gonna be the throttle. That wire's gonna run down here, and we're working on setting up this right now. we'll get those grinded off. I'm bending these down. This battery's a little big, so I'm just making a little tray for it. I've seen some done with wood, or, you know, you got whatever method you want. This bracket's going to screw right into the factory holes, so let's see. It's almost, so it's a little wide. But what I'm going to do is put a couple holes in it and throw a couple big heavy-duty zip ties on it, so that'll hold it down. All right, guys. So, wiring diagram. Basically what I'm doing, you can see all these little guys are the sensors and the 2 brakes on the vehicle. And then, of course, the turn on, turn off, which I'm just going to put a switch on. I will put a brake light on maybe here eventually. I may not do it today, but on this video, but I may pop it on. I've seen that done. So, here's what I've done. I took the foam pads that came with the battery just to give it a little shock resistance. It's my daughter's bike, so we threw a couple pink zip ties on there. This guy I've left loose, but I grinded off the rear bracket and it fits right in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'll tie this one down too. I'm gonna tuck all these wires nice and neat, loom them up a little bit. They're already got water protection on them, which is nice. Zip tied the charge point up here. This one came with the charger, so I can just pop this off, and I got a DC charger plug there. And then on this side, this is basically ready to plug. What I did was I took the plug here that it comes with, and I've got it on a 50 amp. This is just a trip. So if I want to just quickly turn it off in an emergency, something gets hot, you can pop it. So instead of trying to unscrew it or pull a fuse out. Now it is a 50. I actually got a 40 coming. But I had a 50 hanging around, so I figured I'd throw this on. At least I got something on here and I can pop it off. The current, this one says it draws, it's 33, yeah. So 33, I would want to run a 40, right? That would be the typical, and I think most guys are doing that, just for a safety parameter. And then if anything were to short out or have an issue, you got something there to protect you. A lot of guys use the fuses too. If you want to use these, you're going to want to do a 10 gauge when you're drawing that kind of current. This one is not a 10 gauge, but that gives you kind of an idea. They make a 10 gauge version, and that's about this wire thickness right here. So anyways, here we go. We're going to start plugging and playing, and I'll get this on video here. But like I said, if you guys are wiring, just use the diagram. I'm going to kind of walk it through here and get it connected. All right, here we are. We got our test rider. We got everything zipped up. We will clean this up a little bit, but it's zipped for now. It ain't going anywhere. New motor is in. 48 volt run through the switch right there. New throttle's on. Abram's got his. His is a Stasic. That's a 16. That's a fun one. All right, guys, go ahead. Oh, that thing flies. Oh, it climbs that hill with ease. So we couldn't climb that hill before. I mean, you could climb it. It was just really slow. She's definitely getting right up there. Let's see how she does coming back here. Here she comes. She's bombing. Oh yeah, that thing's quick. Major difference. Oh my gosh, girl.